All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Riot Platforms, formerly Riot Blockchain, stock ticker RIOT. They're a Bitcoin mining company. They put out their monthly operational update for February, so I want to go through that. I want to go through where they've been over the last year and where is Riot going. So I want to take a minute and really take a step back and look at what's going on here. I have a bunch of charts and graphs, so stick with me. Let's go through Riot Blockchain. By the way, for those of you who are interested, you can support the channel by hitting the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button. Membership has its privileges. We have a lot of members only content. We have a members only live stream, and we have a members only Discord. So we have 50 plus videos waiting for you there, and it really does help support the channel. So appreciate everybody's support. Let's get to Riot. So Riot is up about 1% in the middle of the trading day today. It's trading at $6.24. That puts it still just over a $1 billion market cap. This is the only Bitcoin mining company publicly traded in North America that still is over a $1 billion market cap. That makes them the largest Bitcoin miner by market cap out of the publicly traded Bitcoin miners. Okay, before we get to their February update, please, everybody remember, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. It helps channel out a lot. I appreciate it. Okay, this was on March 3rd, so this was last week. Riot announces February 2023 production and operations updates. Riot achieves new all-time high hash rate capacity in February of 2023. Okay, so let's get down to the summary here. Bitcoin production and operations update for February 2023. Riot produced 675 Bitcoin, an increase of approximately 55% as compared to February of 2022. So that's year over year. We also like to look at month over month on this channel. So if I go to the previous month, you'll see in January, they mined 740 Bitcoin. That was their all-time record in the history of their company. In February, that went down to 675 Bitcoin. That's not necessarily a bad thing. This is their second best month in the history of their company. And remember, February is the shortest month of the year, so those 3 days difference between January and February are part of the reason that this number is down. The rest of it is the difficulty level increased again dramatically in February. So these Bitcoin companies are going to mine less and less Bitcoin unless they add exahash. So this actually worked out almost exactly correctly mathematically. So in January, they mined about 24 Bitcoin per day. In February, they mined about 22 Bitcoin per day. I think that difference again represents the amount of increase in the difficulty level. So this was a good month for them. Okay, Riot held approximately 7,058 Bitcoin at February 28th, 2023, all produced by the company's self-mining operations. So this is one of the largest Bitcoin stacks out of any publicly traded Bitcoin mining company. There are two companies that have a larger stack, Hut 8 and Marathon did buy about 5,000 of their Bitcoin about 2 years ago. Riot has an extremely strong balance sheet. That is one of the reasons that this is one of my high conviction plays. And again, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you, for me, this is a high conviction play. Riot sold about 600 Bitcoin, generating net proceeds of approximately $14.2 million. So they're selling Bitcoin each month. They've been doing this for quite some time now. Really, in the second half of 2022 and so far in 2023, I think they've been selling enough Bitcoin to completely fund their operations without having to dilute their shares. Lastly, Riot had a deployed fleet of 87,264 miners with a hash rate capacity of 9.8 exahash per second as of February 28th, 2023, which excludes 17,040 miners that are offline as a result of the damage to Building G from the severe winter weather in late December in Texas. So if you remember, a couple of months ago, they had some severe damage. They had to take 17,000 machines offline. So if I go back over a year ago, this is January 5th, 2022. So this is 14 months ago. Riot executes multiple miner purchase agreements and increases self-mining hash rate capacity to 12.8 exahash for 2022. It's now 14 months later, and they are essentially still on this exact plan. Now, they did think they would be at 12.8 exahash by January of 2023. They retired a few machines, so they've adjusted that to 12.5 exahash, but they have not purchase ordered or purchased a single machine since this press release 14 months ago. So Riot made a plan. They've been executing that plan. Again, they are a little behind their plan. Riot now anticipates achieving a total mining hash rate of 12.5 exahash in the second half of 2023. So their plans have been delayed a little bit, but they have been pretty close to on schedule schedule. This is better than average as far as most of the Bitcoin mining companies. The vast majority of Bitcoin mining companies fell way off of their plans in 2022. 6 or 7 of them had to completely restructure their entire business. So this space looks a lot different today than it did a year ago. But Riot has been one of the better performers as far as staying on their plan. Okay, and then Jason Les, the CEO, says February was another month of operational excellence for Riot, during which we produced 675 Bitcoin in the shortest month of the year, and despite one of the largest increases in mining difficulty in recent history. So that's basically what we talked about. So the numbers pretty much make sense month over month from January to February. We've also continued to make progress on repairs to our immersion buildings, including Building G, where we now anticipate a return to full operations by the second half of 2022. And I assume that they mean 2023 by that, since the second half of 2022 is the past. Once achieved, this will bring back the 1.9 exahash rate currently offline and not included in our reported daily hash rate capacity. I remain extremely excited about the future growth plans for Riot and our team's ability to consistently work towards achieving our company's vision to become the leading Bitcoin-driven infrastructure platform. The main thing that I'm going to be looking at for Riot over the next few months. Number one, can they get these machines back online that were damaged? Can they get to their 12.5 exahash that they've been planning for now, you see, for the last 14 months? And lastly, and most importantly, it's been 14 months since they've issued a new purchase order for any Bitcoin mining machines. Because they already had huge plans, I feel like they took a reasonably conservative approach to just build out the infrastructure that they already had in progress to get the machines up and running. This makes them one of the largest Bitcoin miners, the largest by market cap, one of the largest by production. So it looks like they're near done executing that plan. So the question for me is, what is next? And I really think over the next 90 days, I expect to start seeing something from Riot about what's next. Where do they go from there? Because there are other Bitcoin mining companies that have plans to get bigger than this. While they'll remain a leader at 12.5 exahash, the competition is growing and growing. The worldwide hash rate for Bitcoin is growing. It's over 300 exahash on the average. So in order to compete as the difficulty level increases, they're going to need to continue to grow this company. I just want to take a quick look at the balance sheet because, as I mentioned, this is a very, very strong company financially speaking. If you look, they have $443 million in current assets. The vast majority of that is cash and Bitcoin. This was as of December 31st, 2022. Their Bitcoin is now worth more than that, obviously, because the price of Bitcoin's gone up. They have almost $700 million of property and equipment. So this is infrastructure and Bitcoin mining machines. So this is what's going to get them to their 12.5 exahash. You can see they have $1.3 billion in total assets. And that's against only $168 million in total liabilities. So this is a very, very healthy company. $433 million in current assets versus $121 million in current liabilities. So very strong current ratio, very strong ratio of assets to liabilities. This company is trading somewhere around its book value. You can see at December 31st, its book value was $1,151,000. So it's trading at a little bit less than that right now. So I do think that leaves room to the upside. So let's take a look at the chart and see what's going on. Okay, so quickly, this is a chart of their Bitcoin mined by month since January of 2022. January of 2023 was by far their best month at 740, February at 675, and then December of 2022 was their third best month. So this 3-month period represents the most Bitcoin they've ever mined. I do expect that in March of 2023, they will beat all of these numbers. So I'm expecting them to pop back up somewhere around 750 to 800 Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. The difficulty level has increased dramatically, so we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, the other thing to look at is this is a chart of everybody's production in January. I'll be putting this chart out for February very soon. Almost every company has reported. Core Scientific notwithstanding, Riot mined more Bitcoin than any of its competitors in the month of January. Now, in the month of February, actually, Marathon ended up mining 8 more Bitcoin than they did, so a virtual tie for first place, if you will. CleanSpark fell a little bit behind. Only one of all of these companies listed here has mined more in February than they did in January. So because February is a shorter month and because the difficulty level was up, that's pretty much par for the course for all the Bitcoin miners this month. Okay, so if I look at the 1-week time frame, I'm not going to go back to Riot's all-time high, which was early in 2021. I'm just going to go back to their highs in November of 2021 when Bitcoin hit its all-time high and most of the other Bitcoin miners hit their all-time high. So you can see from that point, they're still down 86.5%. So this stock is still very, very oversold. They are a much, much bigger company right now than they were then. They're 3 or 4 times the size company. You can see the last 3 months in a row have been their best 3 months mining in the history of their company. So there's a lot of good things going on. Again, a very strong balance sheet, but you can see both the stock price and the market cap on this company are way, way down off of their highs. I want to zoom in. This is Riot on the 1-day time frame, and the number I want to look at, as always, on all of my charts, I have a green line back in August of 2022. Bitcoin ran up to about $25,000 in August of 2022. So Bitcoin retested $25,000 about 2 weeks ago. That's the first time in the last 7 or 8 months. So even though Bitcoin has gotten back to where it was in August of 2022, you'll see Riot is nowhere near where it was at that point. So Riot would need to go up somewhere around 68 to 70% to just get back to where they were last August, the last time Bitcoin was at 25,000. So we're about 22,000 right now. We've pulled a little bit off of that $25,000 mark, but if Bitcoin can rally and get back above 25,000, more specifically, I think if it can break the $25,200 level, I do think there's a lot of upside on Riot, and I think it could get to this green line, which would be about a 70% increase, and it could potentially even get past that. So obviously that's very contingent on what Bitcoin does. As always, just to look at the other side, in the event that Bitcoin does not hold and we start to retest our lows, Riot is about 48% off of its recent low from December of 2022. So there is a risk reward here. For me, this is a high conviction play. This is a long-term hold, but obviously you guys need to do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice. I know a lot of people are getting extremely discouraged. I'm noticing in the comments a lot of massive frustration. So all I can tell you is, you've got to decide for yourself how you feel about these companies and how you feel about Bitcoin. Again, remember, you can support the channel by hitting the join button on the YouTube page right next to the subscribe button. There's lots of member content, and we really appreciate it. It's helping the channel go on. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.